went in there to go pick her up. I touched her, and she was cold. And I thought maybe she was just cold, like, from being cold.
She thought she was just asleep.
Yeah, and she was lifeless.
Friends, this is the case of Tiffany Mitchell. Now, on January 31st, 2011, her daughter, 2-year-old Kalylynn Bella, was found unresponsive. She was cold and blue. She was pronounced dead. Police then bring in Tiffany for questioning. I'm going to play her audio interview for you, then I'll come back at the end, read out the full police report, and tell you what actually happened.
First, tell me what happened this morning. Exactly how.
I work Monday through Friday, so on Sunday nights I get all the kids' clothes ready, and I laid all the stuff. I put it on the kitchen table because I just went shopping. So I was getting their stuff ready, and the boys, they went to bed. Told them to go to bed, and they were already in the room sleeping.
What time did they go to bed last night?
9:30. Told them to get in bed, and I told her to go in her room, and I brought her in there. And
did you have to carry her in there?
No.
Or she walked in there?
Yeah, she walked in there, and she asked me to put on a movie. So I put on Dora for her. About a half hour later, I went in there to check on her, and she was still watching her movie. So I pulled the blanket up, like, right to here.
So she was still awake?
Yeah,
Okay.
but she was kind of sleepy.
Right. What time was that?
Like, it was like 10.
Okay.
10:30, right around there. So I put her in her bed, and I went in my room, and I started to get my own stuff ready for work. Shortly after that, Joe came in. He came in, and we stayed in my room majority of the time. We came out, get a drink or whatever, but I checked on her one more time before I actually went in my room and went to bed for the night.
What time was that?
That would be like the 10:30 mark before I didn't see her anymore. And she was fine. When I touched her, she rolled from one side to another. I went in my room, and then I went to sleep. Me and Joe watched a movie and fell asleep. And then in the morning when I woke up, I wake up at 6:45 every day. I went out to the boys' room in the farm.
On this end?
On this end of the house. And I walked in and turned the light on, and I told Dylan it's time for school. And I came back in my room after I got them their uniforms and handed them their uniforms. They were getting ready. I went back in my room, and I got my outfit on. About 10 minutes before I was about to leave, I went in there to go pick her up. I touched her, and she was cold. And I thought maybe she was just cold, like, from being cold. I picked her up, and she wouldn't move.
What time was that?
6:50. 6:50, and that's when normally I grab her out of bed before I go to work and drop her off to her dad's house.
So you were just going to carry her out to the car while she was sleeping and...
Yeah.
Okay.
But when I picked her up out of her bed, she was cold. And she didn't feel right, so I picked her up and put her on the floor. And I turned the light on so I could see her face.
On her floor?
On my floor.
Oh, okay.
Because it's too small, I picked her up, and I set her down on the floor.
So was she was in her room, your room and her room are right next to each other, right?
Yeah.
So you picked her up in her room and carried her into your room?
Yeah. And I put her down on the floor, and I started freaking out because she was cold, and I said, Joe, wake up. Something's wrong with her. Something's wrong with her. And he said, call 911 immediately. So we called, and he was trying to do whatever they told him to do on the phone. But I was freaking out, because he just kept saying, come, help me, come. See, something's wrong with her.
Was she discolored or anything, or stiff? Or...
Her face, her eyes were open.
They were open?
Yeah. And her face was cold, and her arms were cold, but her body wasn't that cold.
Now, when you got at it, when she was in bed,
she
where
was
were the covers up?
She was on her side.
On her what side?
She was on the side facing the window, and I pulled her out this way.
So she was laying on her left side?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I pulled her out, because normally she's like, sleeping like this, and I pulled the blanket down. It wasn't over her face, it was just up to here. And it picked her up under her arms, here. And that's when I said I still didn't notice that
she thought she was just asleep.
Yeah, and she was lifeless. And she didn't move. And her eyes were open and her face was pale. Her lips were very dry. She doesn't have any health issues. When she was a baby, they told me she had a hurt murmur.
Right.
But they said she'd grow out of that. And I've gotten her checked since, and they said she was fine. Other than that, she's not on medications.
Her bedroom's on that side of the house, right?
Yeah.
At the far end?
Yeah. When they came in and I picked her up, yeah, she was rolled to the other, like, facing the window.
Was the heat on in the house last night?
Yes.
Was it extremely hot or comfortable?
I put it at 73, but in the middle of the night, I woke up because my room was really hot, and I shut it off because it was really hot in my room. My room usually gets the hottest, and it stays hot. So I closed my vent in my bedroom, and I turned the heat off. Like at 5:10, I woke up. But I didn't go into her room because it wasn't time to wake up. I went to the bathroom, and I turned the heat off and climbed back in bed. Tried to get the last few minutes before I have to go to work.
Oh, so you just cut it off this morning?
Yeah.
Now, tell me a little about yesterday. What did y'all do yesterday?
I went shopping Friday night and Saturday night. Craig took her, and then Sunday I got her back.
Did you go pick her up, or
no? Craig brought her here. We met here.
He brought her back Sunday.
Yeah, he brought her back
time?
Sunday, 5, 6 o'clock
in the afternoon.
I had my cell phone, so when we talked on the phone for a little bit. I didn't bring her shopping. We went earlier in the day. I met him here earlier in the day, and then we came back later to go to sleep.
Was she with you?
Was who?
Your daughter, was she with you when you went shopping?
We went several times. Because like I said, I went to Kohl's, and...
But was she with you?
No.
No?
No, she didn't come with me when we went to Kohl's. We did that before.
So once Craig brought her here, y'all never went anywhere else?
Craig brought her here. I'm trying to think if we went back to Joe's or came back here. Because this is the deal. I date him, and I stay at his house on the weekends. And I stay here during the weekdays. And on Sunday, normally we come back here, so then I can wake up for work in the morning and do the rest of the week. So, I'm trying to think if we picked her up, because there's 5 of them. There's 5 of the kids, but we didn't have his other son this weekend. She did go to Kohl's with me. I had her in the stroller. She was in the stroller, and I was walking around picking out stuff for her. She did go to Kohl's with me. She did go. We had split up in the store. I took one of my sons, and he took one of my sons, and he took his son. He is 2-year-old. We went to Kohl's. We went back to Joe's, and we came back here later. That's what we did.
What time did y'all get back here?
We got back here about 9 o'clock. We got here at 9 o'clock. Because I said to the boys, it's time for bed. They wanted to watch TV, and I said, it's too late. You gotta go to bed. And that's when I started putting everybody to bed and getting their stuff ready for school.
What was she doing there? Was she playing?
Yeah,
were all the kids playing? Tell me a little bit about that.
They were playing a little bit in the living room. Just, she runs around, pulls DVDs out, playing around like that. And I told the boys they gotta go to bed. So, they went to bed. And like I said, I told her to go to bed. So she walked down the hall. She went in her room. And she came out one more time. And I told her, it's time for bed. And I went in there and put the door on for her.
Was she upset because she had to go to bed?
No. As long Dora, put the movie on.
So, her normal actions and her normal behavior was okay yesterday? Did she complain about not feeling good?
No.
What'd she have for supper last night?
She ate at Craig's house, and when we also ate, Craig fed her a little bit, but when I picked her up and we fed her, I gave her an ice cream cone. I went to McDonald's, and I got everybody ice cream, and she had ice cream cone.
So she had her main meal at Craig's house, and then y'all picked her up. You picked her up there at what time?
No, Craig brought her to my house right here.
Okay, so then once he brought her here, then y'all went back out, went shopping at Kohl's?
Yes, stopped back at Joe's house.
Which
he lives in Spring Hill off of Desmond.
Okay.
We went back to his house for a short while, and stayed there I stayed there for a few hours and then came back here.
With the kids?
Yes, with all the kids.
And you left there, you and Joe drove here together or in separate cars?
Separate cars.
And she was with you?
Yes. I brought all my kids with me, and he had his son at his house, and he was going to put his son to bed, and then he was going to come. So that's what happened. He came later after his son was sleeping.
And you got here at about 9 o'clock.
Yes.
Has she fallen down or been in any accidents lately, car accidents, or
No.
complaining of any sickness?
No. She's not sick at all. She's fine.
No medical issues?
Other than, like I said, when she was a baby, they said she has a heart murmur, but they said she'd grow out of that. And she's gotten checked since then.
What's her doctor's name?
Dr. Zudi.
Z-U...
D-H-I.
And where is Dr. Zudi located?
Across from Spring Hill Regional Hospital. Pediatric care is what it's called.
So she hasn't been sick in a long time, or?
She gets a little sniffle colds once in a while, but that's about it, and she hasn't had one for a little bit at all. Maybe in like a month or two, she hasn't had a little cold. Nothing to the point she was, hospitalized or anything like that. She's had, a little cold, and her dad's brought her to the doctor because I work during the day.
What was she wearing when she went to bed?
I just bought her an outfit, and it was a pink sweater and shirt, and had like a monkey on it, and it was like white, like fleece pants, but it had monkeys on it too. It was white, pink.
And you just got that yesterday?
Yes. Just got a whole bunch of clothes, and before we were at Joe's house, I was put her some clothes on her and see if they fit, and I put new shoes on her, and I got her new pants, and I got her a whole bunch of new clothes, and I was trying, and I got her new hairbreadths. And she kept taking, she wanted the hairbreadths.
When she was going to bed, she was normal, like she always is.
Yeah. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. I didn't put her to bed. She was screaming. She didn't went to bed. It was fine. She didn't even cry.
Does she normally cry when she has to go to bed?
Sometimes. Depends, if she had a nap earlier in the day. If she didn't, then maybe she'll be tired and not. She kissed everybody. Go right to sleep. That's it.
Would she have had access to where she maybe ate something that? And I'm not the dope police. I don't care.
Right.
But there's a lot of people that do drugs and prescription pills and all that, and that's what they want to do. That's fine.
Right.
Is there a possibility she may have eaten something, or maybe,
I'm not on any prescription medications at all. I have nothing in the house, like, as far as chemicals that she could get into, for the simple fact I do have older kids, and they, like, household cleaners, and if I do it, keep them up high.
Oh, yeah.
I just moved into this house, and I just moved here, like, a little bit ago, and I don't have, anything, like, out, really, you know what I'm saying? I just started to...
How long have you lived here?
About since December, the middle of December, I moved in here. My lease started December 20th.
And the kids, the older kids, not that they would do anything on purpose, but do they play rough with her? Do you play rough with her?
No, just a little girl at the house, so...
Little princess?
Yeah. She's a little princess, and they don't play rough with her either. She tries to be, like, tough with everybody. She thinks, she's 2 foot tall. She thinks she tries to play with her brothers.
Alright.
They're always gentle to her. It's like a bad dream. It's not real to her.
I wish I could snap you out of it. How long have you and Joe been dating?
Like, 3-4 months. We were friends at first. We were hanging out every day, so actual relationship, about 3 months.
And what kind of person is Joe? Is he hot-headed? Is he...
No.
Gets along with all the kids just fine?
Yes, he doesn't believe in, like, which I really loved about him. He doesn't, like, raise his voice. Right. He doesn't hit. He doesn't take things away. His thing is that he has them sit, like, against the wall and do, like, sit against the wall and have them bend their knees.
Yeah.
That's what he makes them do.
Yeah.
So, with my boys, he doesn't, of course, make the little kids do that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll sit them down and do timeout. He's never once. My kids love that, they respect him for that.
Right.
But,
now, do you spank any of your kids? Because I do.
Well, at one time, I spanked my son for calling 911, and I had DCF called on me.
you can spank your children in a disciplinary fashion. There's
Right.
no crime against that. So.
And I went through my, classes, it was recommended. I did all that stuff, but ever since that day, I have not spanked my kid, not one time. I do the whole...
So DCF has been called?
Yes.
By who? Do you know who called?
Oh, it was my neighbor at the time.
Where was that at?
I lived off of Vicksburg Road, and then the neighbor next door, because my son went over there and said, my mommy spanked me, and they don't believe in that, and they called the law on me for that. And I told them exactly why I did. I work full time. I was paying a babysitter a lot of money to watch my boys at the time. And I told them that I got a call from work and the babysitter said she wasn't going to take him anymore because of what happened. He called 911. He's causing problems. My son. So I got upset and I brought him home and I spanked him. Out of no anger, I just told him, you know what you did? So I had to deal with that.
How many times has DCF been in your life?
3 times.
What was the first one?
When I was pregnant with my daughter, I tested positive for marijuana, and, I did their classes then. The second time, like I said...
You tested positive where?
When I had her,
Mm-hmm.
I had a urinary tract infection, and they, tested me. They had low amounts of marijuana in my system. So they did their investigation,
And that was when she was born?
Yes, when she was born.
And then the second time?
And the second time was when I spanked. It was like a year and a half ago, maybe about a year ago. And then recently, dealing with his kid's mom. She's been, threatening us. And the kid's mom, her name's Tina. I'm sorry, Joe's ex, the one he's got the 2-year-old with. She just got out of jail. She lost custody of her 2-year-old kid. She dropped him on his head. She lost custody so he's got full custody of the kid. And I just met him. I've been just taking care of, being around the kid and being good to the kid, just like my own. And she's been harassing us, writing me on Facebook or whatever, writing him. Things have been happening around his house, just weird stuff. So I don't know, but I know that she was the one who called on me just because she didn't want me around her son.
What were the claims on that one?
That I smoked pot around my kids.
And how long ago was that?
That she called?
Yeah.
2-3 weeks ago. They came and they did their thing.
So the allegations were that you were smoking marijuana around your kids?
Yes.
That's it?
Yeah. I don't know. Joe called DCF because he has his own caseworker and told him about the fact that she had threatened this before me and even him that about calling DCF and trying to swindle her way, basically make him so he's not happy.
Right. But other than that, nothing, no allegations of abuse or hard knock. Do you do drugs at all?
No.
I mean, no marijuana, no.
I smoke pot.
Okay, that's fine. But no meth, no.
No.
Fentanyl,
No.
And we're not going to find any in the house, right?
No.
Promise?
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I do smoke pot, and you will, if you guys go through my house, I do.
I'm not the dope police. If it's in there, it's in there.
Well, I'm just saying, I do.
Is there large quantities in there?
No, like a small amount.
Okay. Well, don't sweat it. Don't worry about that.
Because I'm just saying. Okay. I love my kids.
You're fine. You don't sit there and have your kids smoke it with you, right?
No.
So,
I don't do it when they're around. I don't do it all the time.
Do you do it in the house or when they're in there? Or?
No. I do it outside.
Marijuana's not going to injure your kids. You're smoking in your room or whatever. So don't freak out about that. Don't worry about it, okay? Is there anything else you can think of? Any complaints that, she hit her head or anything recently that
would make me think that would...
And Joe's never put his hands on her?
No, absolutely not. He's so mellow person.
Because he smokes marijuana.
He really doesn't even really smoke that much. No.
I'm just trying to make it light.
Right. I don't really have anything in the house that I would, because of the fact of having 3 of them and me being usually by myself, I couldn't, even chemicals, I'm worried about if I'm in the shower or something, they can get into it. Yeah. Plus, like I said, I completed a 6-month parenting course. So, I got the tips to, make sure this, make sure that, so.
DCF made you go through that?
They did make me. It was voluntary.
And that was after the second one?
Yes. Well, I did parenting classes with the first one. And, they always say it's recommended.
Mm-hmm.
And I did anything that they said was recommended. And you could always learn something. I was a young mother. I got pregnant when I was 17, and you could always learn. I feel as if anybody should take these classes, and I was very, I'm not doing it because it's, I just felt like they were attacking me, but in a way I'm glad I did.
Right.
I learned a lot from them, and
When's the last time that she went to the doctor?
Her dad took her to get shots, but I don't exactly know when. Exactly when. It had to be maybe within no more than 3 months, but within the last 2 months. I don't know exact date.
Now, unfortunately, the way this works, I'm going to have to talk to you, over and over, and I want to be here for you, and I want to help you through this. So we're going to be a team, and we're going to work through this.
Okay.
But don't, at any time, I know you're going to get upset, and I've got broad shoulders. I can handle it. You can yell at me. You can cuss me. You can.
Okay. Anything you need, just let me know,
Okay. Well, I've bent you here enough. I know you want to be with your fans, your family back there.
Yeah.
I know you want to be with them, so I'll cut it short now, and we'll talk again.
No. When are they going to take her out?
It'll be a little while. Get with you.
What happened to her? What are they going to do with her?
She'll go to the medical examiner's office.
Okay.
There'll be an autopsy done.
Okay.
And then you'll be notified by the medical examiner's office on funeral arrangements and all that. You have to figure out all that. But are there any questions you want to ask me, or?
That's about it.
I'll let you go be with your family. And,
Okay.
I wish I could do something for you.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Don't call me sir, call me Cole. All right?
Thank you, Cole.
Yes, ma'am. Leave this interview at 8:46.
So that's the end of the police interview. Let me now read out the full police report. I have some more information after. I'll tell you what happened and you can tell me what you think. So, on the 31st of January 2011, that's when police responded to the address in reference to a death investigation. The 2-year-old child had been found by her mother unresponsive. When the mother touched her arms and her feet, the child was very cold. So police observed an off-white single-wide mobile home sitting on the south side of Ferry Avenue. This mobile home was positioned with the front yard facing east and the ends running north and south. Police observed the vehicle, which was parked in the front yard of the residence, and did not find it suspicious. Now, when the police got there, the mother's boyfriend was attempting CPR on the child, the mother being Tiffany. The child herself was located in the master bedroom on the south end of the residence. The ambulance said that the child was deceased upon their arrival. She was covered up in a blanket and everyone exited the scene. Now, the only people at the time in the residence when they found the child was Tiffany, the mother, the other children in the house, and Tiffany's boyfriend. Now, the biological father, his name was Craig, he arrived on the scene. Police spoke with him. Craig told them he is the biological father, but that morning Tiffany called him and said there's something wrong with the child. Tiffany was very upset and crying, so Craig immediately responded to her residence. The child custody arrangement they had is Tiffany takes the child to Craig's house during the day while she goes to work. Craig told him that a few days before, Tiffany brought her to his residence around 6:30 in the morning, where she stayed until Sunday. Craig said during those few days, the child was okay, active, had a very good appetite. There were no signs of any problems. He advised that they played as usually and she never acted sick or sluggish. Craig did advise the child complained about a stomachache, but it stopped bothering her. But this stomachache happened because she ate too much. And after an hour or so, it went away, further indicating nothing wrong with the child. So police then spoke with Tiffany. This is what Tiffany said at the house, on the scene. She woke up and went to her 2 boys' room to wake them up for school. She then went back to her bedroom where she got dressed for work. Once she was dressed, she advised that she went to the child's room to get her so then she could take the boys to school and drop her at Craig's house. But when she went to pick the girl out of bed, the girl did not feel right. Her face and arms were cold to the touch. Her eyes were wide open. Tiffany then took the child to her bedroom where there was more space and more room. This is when she woke up her boyfriend. They started to do some form of CPR and call 911. However, when police did further investigation, they discovered Tiffany and her children had been the subject of 3 different DCF investigations. Well, that's a fucking surprise, isn't it? How many times have you watched a true crime story and there's always the DCF involved somewhere, right? Tiffany said one of the investigations was because she tested positive for marijuana when the child was born. The second time was because she spanked the child, and the third was 2 or 3 weeks ago where the DCF received a report that Tiffany was smoking marijuana around the kids. She believed the third report was done by her boyfriend's ex because she was jealous of Tiffany. She did tell police, "I never smoke around my children." Police then asked her if she did any other narcotics, and she said no. Police asked her if she was prescribed any narcotic. She said no. Police asked her if there were any chemicals in the residence that the kids could potentially get to. She said there were some pills, but she kept them high in the cupboards away from the children. Now, what the police found puzzling, the child had no bruises, no cuts, no injuries of any sort. But they did see some foam on her mouth. Police then conducted a background check on Tiffany's boyfriend, Joseph. He was found to have had 2 prior abuse reports in 2009. The first report, his child's mother, Tina Frank, tested positive for methadone, opiates, and benzos when the child was born. However, all these medicines were found to be prescribed. The second report from 2009 shows the allegations as being the child having fallen off an examining table at the pediatrician. These were the 2 cases police found involving Joseph. You starting to see a pattern here? Certain drugs, foam on the child's mouth. But let's keep going through the report. Then further information come to light and everything was revealed. So Tiffany said on the Sunday, 30th of January, Tiffany went to her grandma's house and picked up her 2 sons. While Tiffany was there, she purchased an Oxycodone pill from the grandma and paid $15. Tiffany described the pill as being green, round, 80 milligrams. Tiffany subsequently put the pill in her wallet where it remained until she returned home. Tiffany then took out the pill and put it on the side of her night table. This is when she put her child to bed and then Tiffany gets into the shower. Tiffany believes her child must have gotten out of bed and gotten the pill while she was in the shower. Tiffany later noticed the pill missing shortly after getting out of the shower. She searched for the pill but unable to find it. Now, Tiffany initially stated the grandma gave her the pill for menstrual cramps and the pill later went missing out of her wallet. But then Tiffany changed her story several times after being confronted. She disclosed the fact that her boyfriend has a prescription for Roxy's. What are Roxy's? Let me know. Tiffany claimed that she purchased the pill from the grandma because her boyfriend was out of his prescription. Tiffany also disclosed the history of prescription drug abuse that included crushing and snorting oxycodone pills. Tiffany stated that she feels responsible for the death because she brought the oxycodone into her house. In other words, while Tiffany went to have a shower, her daughter woke up, went into the room, took the oxycodone pill, and then she died in the morning. Do you think Tiffany is culpable? She was sentenced to 30 months in prison. She was released in 2016. Negligent manslaughter is what she was charged with. Negligent is certainly the right word. 30 months? Yeah, probably is the right punishment. She certainly did not intend for this to happen. And even if you look at the previous DCF cases, they were never about any physical injuries. It was more about her drug use, so to speak. I know how some of you feel about marijuana. I'm not trying to put it down. I'm just reading you what I see. So, comment, tell me what you think.
And as we think about poor Kaylee, now we have another Florida toddler to think about. This toddler also, this little girl has died a senseless death. And cops say it is because of her mother. Some eerie parallels here. Just like Casey Anthony, cops say Tiffany Mitchell's first instinct was to lie when she was asked about her little girl's death. Does that sound familiar? Look how similar these two look. And we found a photo of the child, little Kalylynn, on findagrave.com. She died after swallowing oxycodone. But cops say the mom told them, initially anyway, she had no idea where little Kalylynn had gotten the drugs. Well, now cops say Tiffany Mitchell has changed her story and admits that she left the drugs on her nightstand while she took a shower. Straight out to Tiffany Mitchell's attorney, Jimmy Brown. Thank you for joining us, Jimmy Brown. First of all, I understand there's some breaking news and your client has just gotten out on bail. Tell us about that. Apparently that happened moments ago.
That's correct. We had a bail hearing this morning about 8:15, and she has just recently been released from the Commando County Jail.
All right. You got to speak up, sir, because you're on, sounds like you're at the bottom of a well. Okay. People are saying there are eerie similarities to the Casey Anthony case. Your client an attractive young female in her 20s, also a child approximately 2 years old. Both lied to law enforcement initially, and both deaths involved at least talk anyway of an accident. An accident. Obviously, the Casey Anthony case, the accident, depending on who you believe, is an accidental drowning, a chloroform overdose. In the case of your client, it's oxycodone, which is also known as hillbilly heroin. What do you have to say for your client? Do you see a similarity? Even the names are similar. Kaylee and the child who died in the case of the client you represent, Kalylynn. Your thoughts, sir?
Well, I think there are certainly superficial similarities. The names are eerily similar. That's true. The ages of the children are similar. The ages of the mothers similar, and the allegations, at least as to one of the counts that Casey Anthony faced over there for culpable negligence, that's the aggravated manslaughter of a child, are similar as well. And the underlying idea that perhaps the mothers, Casey Anthony over there, of course, my clients here, were neglectful because of some desire for individual gratification, or just because it wasn't convenient to them. That's there.
You know what? I'm having a hard time hearing you.